how I drew this and how you can potentially draw this too by zoning in on my technique, materials, and thought process, I've got you covered. Hi, welcome to my first video. I am about to have an identity crisis. So people say Thando, but the actual way to say my name is Tando. However, I don't have a preference right now, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see more art-related content by me because I have so many ideas. And let's get started. So the first thing I got was my ruler because even though my work is very abstract and expression-y, I still care to have like good proportions and make sure things align. The next thing you'll need is to pick a color. I personally chose green because I just felt like a green vibe today. It changes each day, but you definitely do not have to pick the same color. And white. Is it like this? It's literally 4 centimeters. Okay, well, grab the lightest shade of whatever color you're using. So I'm gonna use a PC 910, 909, PC 908, finally using black, which is just the PC 935. Sharpener, an eraser, and finally you need paper because you're not gonna draw on oxygen molecules. So I'm using this Strathmore sketchbook. The quality is pretty good so far. Here's time to get your materials if you're drawing along. Did you get your materials? Wow! This reminds me of this Dora thing where she just comes in and she's just like, where are my shoes? Do you know where my shoes are? Oh, thank you! This is a reference that I'll be using for the drawing, and I'll have it on screen at all times. I always start with the right eye, and right now I'm just mapping out all the values, trying to get in the dark values, the light values, just roughly sketching. This is not supposed to be super duper accurate because, again, this is layer 1. It's the ugly layer. Moving on to the nose, I'm just really focusing on creating mini gradients to build in that value. Another key feature that I'm paying close attention to are the facial proportions. So our faces are actually divided in 1/3. So the top of your forehead to the middle, like right in between of your eyebrows, like that size is the exact same size as your nose and the same size as like your chin and mouth area. Key thing in this layer is to now start to like, okay, what are you okay with? Which part should be emphasized or which part should be corrected? So right now I'm just looking at the eye shape and really paying attention to those hard lines and edges. It's kind of like a rectangle, but then like, no, it's like a trapezoid. Tyler's eye is like a trapezoid. I highly recommend looking at drawing in this perspective, like you're dealing with really simple shapes at the fundamental level. You're dealing with rectangles, you're dealing with trapezoids, circles. Just look at those tiny elements and it'll be good. So here's a mini tip that's applicable to like any realistic type drawing that you're trying to attempt to create. So notice how my lines are not so stagnant, they're not just straight. I try to curve areas, like for example, like at that like nose nook kind of area, I'm like curving it up into like a C shape just to accentuate the features of the face. So now I'm shading in the whites of the eye because it is so not true that the whites of the eyes are purely white. Since we are dealing with a 3D object, there are shadows. Hey, we got a new perspective. Initially, I didn't really know how to like get my phone camera to record this way, so I kept doing the awkward like vertical Snapchatty format that I just really didn't like. So excited to finally have it this way. So right now I am just detailing like the nostril area, but honestly, my attention span while drawing is embarrassing. I like go all over the place because I don't know, that's just how I go. I like working in patches. As you can see, like I'm going horizontally and vertically. Just add some like character to the texturing. There are literally so many reasons why I think people in general should find some like creative form to engage themselves with, because there are many lessons that you learn within a creation process, whether that is drawing, I don't know, doing photography, making a video, just something different from the regular. Because yeah, like art has personally taught me a multitude of lessons. So you may notice the additional lines around the head shape. Those are actually all like mistakes. I made the head shape a bit too wide for Tyler because Tyler's head shape is more slender and a little bit longer. So I definitely slimmed down during layer 2 with the darker shade, which is why we always start with lighter shades so that we can make mistakes. But that is not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to say is own your mistakes. Art has definitely taught me the value in just converting your mistakes and frustrations into just some visual representation, and is usually super duper relatable anyway. You don't have to be so hateful towards yourself when things don't go the exact way you wanted them to go. Sometimes mistakes are honestly better. I mean, I'm about to go on a tangent right now, but think about the microwave. Like, the microwave, I think, was discovered accidentally. Like, there's so many things that are discovered accidentally and that were mistakes that have come out as masterpieces or very critical things in our society to use. So, I guess key lesson today is embrace yourself, embrace your mistakes, embrace your true self. I think the other reason why we're so afraid to not embrace our mistakes is because of maybe peer pressure, like, oh, you don't want to look stupid in front of Billy Bob Joe. Well, you don't know. Billy Bob Joe has his own insecurities and his own stuff that, but then he hides it well, and then he looks like he's perfect. Nobody's perfect, right? I really like to make sure things align before committing, because once you add your darker shades, it becomes, again, harder to erase things and everything just gets so messy. So using layer 1, make sure that you feel comfortable or like happy with the overall shape. And don't expect it to look super like good on layer 1 because we haven't shaded everything, which is why the eye looks bigger, one eye looks bigger, other eye looks smaller. That's just... Honestly, adding the circles is one of my favorite parts because it's an abstract accent to the piece. It's something that isn't there in reality, but in the drawing world, you can make that exist and make that a real thing. So that's what I, again, like about drawing. I could make a whole video, 1000 reasons why I like drawing. But yeah, and with these circles, like, you can add any shape. Like, you could make a star, you could make a rectangle, a trapezoid, I don't know, whatever you feel like. And put it anywhere. Like, you don't have to put it at the cheek area. I go completely random with it. And bug eyes.
What in the heck
do I mean by a generous application of a shade? So what I mean is you're being super selective now. You're on your 3rd shade. This is the darkest shade of your color. So you don't want to put it everywhere. Otherwise, the whole popping out contrast thing, honey, it's not going to happen. What you want to do is, for example, so notice how I'm working on the eyebrow. I'm not coloring the entire eyebrow with this color. I'm just doing a little kind of dash spot, which allows for the other shades to like speak for themselves. A super crucial tip is that if you're trying to draw a recognizable person, you need to zone in on their features. So Tyler's nostrils kind of have a triangular downward shape. So that's what I'm trying to emphasize using the darker color. Side note, I would really love to play some of his songs as the background music, but I'll get copyrighted, and who wants to get copyrighted on the first video? So in substitution of that, obviously I'm gonna sing. All right, I'm gonna go with Earthquake classic. For real this time, 'cause you never agree. Don't leave.
Anywhere you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
This was a last minute decision, but I decided to add some shadows to the portrait because I noticed that the reference had these shadows, and usually I don't include such detailing, but I don't know. Today we want it to be funky. Today we want it to be unique. We want it to be different. For the clothing, I personally opted for a complementary color, and I just used like the marker and I just like swiped on there, and then afterwards I added detailing with my black Prismacolor, just like some random scribbles everywhere to just give it, some accents. Spice. Dear white Prismacolor, thank you for your service.